Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. We're going to break down what is expected for today. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and first give you an outlook of what the Storm Prediction Center has put out. Let's see if this is finally updated. It looks like it has. It actually updated 10 minutes ago. That's what I was kind of waiting on this morning to make sure that we got this graphic updated. So let me go ahead and show you that now. All right, so this is what we're expecting for the United States today. This graphic here, we got marginal risk over in Atlanta, Columbia, South Carolina, and all the way up to areas of Raleigh. I'll talk about that, but first I want to focus on this area here because this is the biggest concern of possibility for tornadoes. Very, very isolated threat. Um, and we'll get to where exactly that might be, in my opinion, where ample enough would be available to chase in just a moment here. All right, so looking at the significant tornado parameters, we are thinking, or I should say, I am thinking that somewhere around 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is going to be the biggest concern. Somewhere between Faith and Dupree, South Dakota, if you're in that region, that would be probably the area of greatest concern for tornado activity today. There is even a possibility down here by Scottsbluff, but and Pine Bluff, but very low in my opinion. It's going to be more up here. Reason for that is we have that bulk shear or the shear available. We have the shear available in order to support that. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Here's our shear, same time frame. If we analyze that a little bit better, we got 54 knots. So 56 knots. That is a lot of shear that's going to be available for a possibility of a tornado happening again somewhere between the Faith and Dupree area. So if any of my fellow chasers are listening to this later, John Hall and any one of those, you definitely would want to target somewhere along 212, a little bit further south, actually. You'd want to go on the southwest side of this. So you'd probably want to travel on 34 out of Pier and match up with that puppy. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, let's go ahead and break down the timing of, the rain and everything else and what that's going to kind of entail and look like. Let's move things along. We'll back it up. Here's when it's expected to start. Now, this is just one weather model, and I'll show you some others, but sometime after 2 p.m., things kind of get going in the northwest portion of South Dakota, and then the southern tier is going to be a little bit later, and I'll show you why I believe that's going to be a little bit later. But as you can see, it really ramps up in around 5 p.m., right around this area of Faith and Dupree. And then it pushes off to the east southeast before we get another cell sometime around 8 p.m. This is when it starts becoming more of a wind event and hailer, but then by the time 9 p.m. goes, more of the risk would be the rain and a little bit of the wind, but nothing real significant is expected after 9 or 10 p.m. These would be in central daylight time. So just be aware of that. Once we get past 10 p.m., I really think it's just going to it's going to hit a brick wall, basically, in my opinion, because right here we got one heck of a lot of capping that's going to be happening, not a lot of the elements that are available to keep on pushing this further eastward. So that's why they have the general thunderstorms. This will putter out by the time he gets over to areas of like Miller, Clark, Aberdeen, all those areas, and even Sioux Falls. So again, This is the main concern. That's why they have the slight risk there. Let's go ahead and show you the tornado risk and where that is outlined. There it is. Tornado risk is all along this whole line in the green. Anywhere else in the U.S.? Nope. Less than 2%, but still there. And then this is the 15% or slight risk of hail, or rather wind, sorry, all along here. And then we do also have that hail threat, while that is a little bit more isolated to this northern half of South Dakota. Back this up, let's look through midnight. These would be the areas that I would be concerned most about for some hailers. And if we pinpoint that, it'd be Sterling, Fort Morgan area, kind of by the Sidney, Nebraska, Julesburg even could get in on this. I apologize, that's Colorado. Goodness gracious, you'd think I would know it. Ray, and then by the time you get to 10 p.m., again, it pretty well pitters out or putters out, however you want to say it. What is the rain looking like as far as the overall threat? We do have excessive rainfall outlook here, and that is pinpointing, again, this area here, just south of Lemon, Pierce, South Dakota. That's going to be excessive rain. We could have some isolated areas. We could get 3 inches of rain and in a short period of time. We also have this area here over in Charlotte, Columbia, Greensboro, Jacksonville, Wilmington, all these areas of North Carolina, South Carolina. Again, possibility of some isolated portions of 3 inches. Let's back this up here. And the timing on this one, we do see this happening a little bit sooner. So this is 2 p.m. estimates. And there's 4 p.m. These are in Central Daylight Time, so just add an hour onto that. By the time you get into the afternoon, early evening hours, you're really seeing it widely scattered. So some places are going to get a lot, and some places are not going to get much of anything, and that's a big concern there for some flash flooding if you're in the yellow zone. All right, areas of McKinney, unfortunately, are also under the gun for some more rain for Sulphur Springs, Longview, Tyler, Texas, some of those areas, mainly after 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time is when we're expecting to see some of those storms brew up. Non-severe, the main threat here is going to be the potential for some flash flooding in some areas. Unfortunately, lots of moisture down there. Let's go ahead and take a look at one last thing here. We'll take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook for tomorrow. That does go into areas of Garden City. We'll take a look at the NAM and kind of get that pinpointed here. This was updated at 2 o'clock this morning, so just be mindful that this does not go through another update for about another hour here. So I apologize. This was updated at 1 a.m. Wrong time. Let's go ahead. Move this along. Here it is. Here it comes. So late night is according to this. So it looks like after 8 p.m. tomorrow could have that excessive rainfall going into areas of Ulysses and Garden City and Goodland, Kansas. So just stay mindful of that. What is there severe risks, and is there any other areas? So it looks like there is another area here farther into the deep south, Savannah, Georgia. Move this along here. Again, this is for tomorrow, the 2nd. You can certainly see it's very widely scattered. Not expecting anything significantly severe down there for tomorrow. If we go to the third day, kind of stays over in areas of the southern portion of Kansas and areas of just to the north of Oklahoma. So that's what we got for excessive rainfall outlook. What's our risk for severe weather for tomorrow? That's going to be isolated over to Colorado areas and western portions of Kansas, extreme western portions of Kansas, and it's going to be uh, there is going to be that possibility of some tornado risk there, even though they don't have that right now pointed out a whole lot. It's 2% there. I believe there's going to be a 5% somewhere in this vicinity. Just be mindful of that. That could end up changing as we get closer. As far as anywhere else, no, there's not at this point in time. Day 3, we're kind of watching this whole system here. They still have this. This is why we have a lot of this area here is under marginal risk. I expect this, fully expect this, some of this area to be upgraded to a slight risk and probably going to have some hail and wind threat with this for sure, maybe an isolated tornado or two somewhere in this vicinity as well. But typically when it's 3 days out, they don't put out those more specific parameters because of the fact that things shift quite a bit and they want to narrow that down. So just be aware, general thunderstorms outside of this area, but Rapid City area, again, North Platte, and even areas of Garden City for the next few days are going to be seeing some of those severe weather risk impacts. So August is definitely looking like a new May. And then as we get later into next week, there are some other risks that are happening, but we can't really discuss that a whole lot because the models are all over the place. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. But once we get to Wednesday or Tuesday next week, I'll be really interested in seeing what happens in this general vicinity here. To see what happens there. So just a little bit of a teaser, if you will. I don't know what's going to happen other than there's going to be some severe weather there. I just don't know the specific details of how much and how broad, how large scale this is going to be. So just leaving you with that. Certainly make sure that you stay safe, stay weather aware, make sure you're liking and subscribe.